The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
You say opportunity for both young brothers to be on the field tonight as the Tigers and the Texas Rangers will meet in Detroit. Jace went 1 for 4 yesterday at the plate, had an RBI, struck out once. So I would say probably really good chance, right, of those two guys starting tonight against each other.
Decent shot, yeah.
Yeah, more than decent.
Jace could pitch hit. Like he's been they're on a rotation for third base, so he could play tonight. He could play tomorrow.
Okay,
he could pinch hit all 3 games. I don't want to guarantee it. We know Josh will start at third. Mm-hmm. Don't know if Jace is going to start or not. That's got to
be pretty cool for their family and
more than pretty cool.
Yeah, the parents and things like that. They have a little brother versus brother action going on.
Who leaves the first note in the dirt for the other brother? You think Josh writes, good luck, and Jace writes, you suck at the bottom of it?
No, I think one writes guns up and the other writes wreck 'em.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Well,
gets away from the whole brotherly thing there, though, Jamie. Mm-hmm. Like if it was you and your brother, what would the 2 messages say?
Oh, man.
See?
I have a feeling Jamie would be nicer than his brother.
It would probably say, like, Mom likes me best or something like that. And he would say, you're right. I've always said that. Yeah, I don't think my brother and I would take shots at each other or whatever.
Okay. Let's see.
I always go back to when we get talking about those two together, that one year in Omaha where their father was just going off to me about the two of them. He walked into the hotel room the night, I think they were in an Airbnb, but he walked in and the two of them were on the floor just like going at it hard, wrestling. And they're bouncing into furniture and there's, lamps getting knocked over. And he just starts screaming and yelling at Jace because, Jace is just a high school kid at this point. He's like, if you injure him and he can't play in a game here in Omaha, the typical, right, brothers, they're just doing brotherly things,
sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. Probably started fun and turned into it, got a little more serious and he's yelling about Josh. I can't believe you would risk blah, 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 getting hurt, blah. And, they're just being brothers. And it was hilarious to listen to him. He was furious with the two of them.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, here's some brother combos for Major League Baseball. Paul Wainer and Lloyd Wainer. Paul played from 1926 to 45, had 3,152 hits. His younger brother, Lloyd, played for 18 seasons with 2,459 hits. That's pretty good. Paul inducted into the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame in 1952 and Lloyd by the Veterans Committee in 67. You had the DiMaggio brothers, Joe, Dom, and Vince. Vince, actually the oldest. He debuted second. Joe got to the majors first. Joe, of course, the highlight of those three. Dom, though, DiMaggio, was an all-star 7 times, and he missed 3 years serving in the military, as did Joe DiMaggio. Okay, Dom's entire career was with the Red Sox, so that's probably a nice little rivalry there. And then you had the Martinez brothers, Pedro and Ramon Martinez. Pedro was the Hall of Fame pitcher. His older brother, his career was of note too. He pitched 14 seasons for the Dodgers, Red Sox, and Pirates. So that's a very good career. And he was an all-star, and he finished second to Doug Drabek in the National League for a Cy Young. So you hear a lot about Pedro Martinez, obviously. but Ramon Martinez had a good career as well. Great career. The Negro brothers, they're probably the most they're not the most famous. They were the most famous in their day, 60s and 70s and 80s, because of the fact that they threw knuckleballs. Joe was not as good as Phil. Phil was there for a long, long time. Joe pitched 22 seasons, won a World Series with the Twins.
If you were asking me, I would say the most famous brothers are the Ripken brothers.
Really?
I mean, they played together with their dad coaching them, managing them.
Okay, I would say...
I'm just saying from my era,
right,
the ones that I think.
Right, no, I got you.
The Negros are older than me.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I know that they were brothers and they were played, but from my era, the Ripkins played with their dad managing them. That to me is the most recognizable brother combo.
And then you had the Alou brothers, Felipe, Matty, and Jesus Alou. They all played together. They played in the outfield.
They all played together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They're the only trio of brothers to appear in the same outfield in a game. Each had at least a 15-year career. Felipe, 17 years. And then the Boyer brothers, there were three of them, Ken Boyer, Cleet, and Cloyd Boyer.
Ken, Cleet, and Cloyd?
Yeah.
Cloyd,
Cloyd. Cloyd Boyer. Yeah.
Cleet and Cloyd.
Cloyd played 111 Major League games. His younger brothers were far better. Ken was probably the highlight one. He had an 11-time All-Star career and 5-time Gold Glove. It's funny. Other notable combos. These were the top 10. They just list by, stats and stuff. But your point about Billy Ripken and
no Alomar's on that list.
They list them after the. This was just a statistical. How they notoriety.
Those two are both all-stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
really good players.
Mm-hmm. Then they have Brett Nierenboom.
Roberto hasn't gotten into the Hall, right?
No.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think. I think he was good enough, but I think the whole spitting incident really hurt him.
Yep. Ken and Bob Force, a couple of pitchers. Both of them threw no-hitters. And then you had Dizzy and Paul Dean. Dizzy was the bigger one there. Anyway, just kind of interesting, I thought.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is Friday, May the 9th, 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with a day in sports history.
1961 is where we will start.
Okay.
Because Baltimore Oriole Jim Gentle hits two, count them 1, 2 grand slams, has 9 RBI in the game versus the Minnesota Twins.
Jim Gentle. Wonder if they called him Gentleman Jim.
Just Gentle Jim.
Just Gentle Jim, yeah.
I bet his friends called him Jack. But
Well, if he was Jack and his real name was Jim, did they call him Jimmy Jack?
Oh, maybe that's his.
But he hit grand slams, not 3-run home runs, so it can't be a 3-run Jimmy Jack.
Can't be.
Man, the things you miss out on. 1987, Oriole Eddie Murray is the first to switch hit home runs in 2 consecutive games.
Oh, wow. I really liked Eddie Murray. I thought he was a good
He was a really good player, no doubt.
And I feel like he just got overshadowed in his era. Before the steroid era, and I don't think he was, caught up in that, and he put up big numbers. And then the steroid era came, and, suddenly his numbers weren't that good anymore. A switch hitter that hit for power, hit for average, was good with the glove. And I just feel like he was overshadowed in his era.
Yeah, I think he was a quiet guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably why I liked him.
But I
wasn't flamboyant and never got into any drama and all that kind of stuff.
No, but I remember when he would, because he played for the Orioles for a long time, and he would when they would come to Kansas City and go to an Oriole game, a Royals game versus the Orioles, he was always a guy. He just could get a hit.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't one of those guys that was, like you said.
Also not on great teams at the beginning, with those Oriole teams.
They won a World Series with him. They were pretty good in the late 70s and the early 80s, and then after that it dropped off.
Yeah.
Suck it, Baltimore. 1995. Cleveland Indians tie a record of scoring 8 runs before making an out. They beat the Twins 10-0. Little no-out rally there, Jamie.
No out rally.
Oh. Is that a new
Those
thing?
are the best kind.
Yeah, no out rally.
2009, Texas Tech snapped a 5-year, 23-series road losing streak with an impressive 12-6 win over number 10 Kansas State. A.J. Ramos picked up the win and improved to 2-0 in his career against the Kansas State, going 6 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits and 5 walks with 7 Ks. And in 2010, former Red Raider baseball player and current Oakland Athletic pitcher Dallas Braden becomes the 19th pitcher to throw a perfecto, beating the Tampa Bay Rays 4-0 on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
It is National Foodies Day. None of us qualify.
You know how Choice loves lists?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he loves giving us lists of overused words or terms that are used now, blah, 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 that are, maybe shouldn't be, whatever. Foodies is one that I'm not a huge fan of.
Is he a big fan of that word, foodies?
No, I'm just, what is a foodie?
Okay, so to give it an idea of what it's like, you are a huge baseball fan. You know the ins and outs of the team. You know how what guys are batting. You're paying attention to those kind of things. A foodie is somebody who does the same thing with food. They look for the exotic stuff. They do a deep dive on stuff and different ingredients doing different things and making it an event of eating food as opposed to just, hey, I would like a burger today.
So I'm a fan of baseball. They're a fan of food.
They're a fan of food.
Okay, well, who's not?
But not just not enjoy eat, but making it the complete science of it. The
complete science of eating.
Listen.
Food.
There's car guys, there's sports card guys, there's video game guys, there's sports guys, there's food guys. It's their niche.
Twitter
that they
guys.
Enjoy.
Don't forget the Twitter guys.
There's Twitter guys too.
Twitter guys, yeah.
Happy birthday today. One of my favorites, Billy Joel, 76. Candace Bergen, 79. Prince Fielder, famous Ranger, 41. Trey Lance, 25. Calvin Murphy, 77. And Lane Kiffin is 50 today.
50. Wow.
And on this day in 1974, the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee opens impeachment hearings against President Richard Nixon, voting to impeach him on 3 accounts on July 30th. The impeachment was the result of the scandal involving the bungled burglary of the offices of the Democratic National Committee in the Watergate apartment complex in Washington, D.C. on June 23rd, 1972. Eventually, it was learned that there was a criminal cover-up that went all the way to the White House. Nixon, facing impeachment proceedings, resigned the presidency on August 8th, 1974. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history. Yeah. This day in sports history. All right. Time for the lucky local winning word. It's brought to you by the Home Zone, making your house a home, and Double T 97.3. We encourage you to participate because you could be a winner. Like we've had a couple of winners this week. Michelle Alexander won $500 on Tuesday. Donna Martinez won $500 yesterday. So you can be a man or a woman and win this contest. You don't have to just be female to win this contest. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay? So we encourage everybody of all ethnicities and genders to
even foodies
to participate.
Because you could use this $500
to go buy some food
to work on the science of eating, like Jeff said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once you hear
very
this,
good description, Jeff.
Once you hear this lucky local word at 6:52, go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and enter it in, and you'll have a chance to win next week, Tuesday or Thursday of next week. The more times that you enter, of course, the more chances you have to win. Your lucky local winning word on this 9th day of May, a Friday, 6:52 in the morning. Broncos. Broncos is your lucky local winning word. I feel like I'm required to say, given my history with this particular team, if you put in donkeys, that is not allowed. Jeff had his finger on that, ready to hit that button. I would have disappointed you if I had not said that. Wouldn't you? Had been disappointed.
No, you wouldn't have disappointed me. It would have been a pleasant surprise.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think anybody requires it.
We just require you to say Broncos.
Broncos.
So that they can write it in.
Broncos.
So they know what to do to win the money from us.
Broncos is your lucky local winning word. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com, enter it in, and thanks to the Home Zone helping you make your house a home, and Double T 97.3 for making all this happen. Okay, 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I've not done the deep dive into this, but are they now saying, Jeff, because I think you probably have some thought on this, that part of the Watergate stuff was part of Nixon's attempt to uncover some of the papers from the Kennedy assassination? Have you heard this? Seen this? Read this?
No.
Okay.
This was about him trying to find out what the Democrats were going to do to run against him.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think
what it was about.
Okay, I understand that.
Arkham's razor. Simplest answer is the solution to the problem. The problem was, what did Nixon want? He wanted to know what the Democrats had.
And this would be like Texas Tech playing Incarnate Word and Joey McGuire sending somebody down there to steal the playbook for Incarnate Word, because there's no way that George McGovern was going to win over Nixon in 72. No way.
Correct.
Yeah.
But Nixon didn't want to lose and wanted to make sure he wasn't going to lose. So he wanted to find out what they were doing so he could go after it. And what did it do? Got him resigning their presidency.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about that.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here on the Morning Drive, good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. We're kind of swimming through it this morning. Very, very nice water, very smooth water that we're swimming through today. Okay,
that's good.
Not choppy at all. We'll have high school baseball on the air for you today. As the Friendship Tigers are in playoff action, they take on South Lake Carroll. We'll have it at 7 tonight on Sunny 97.7, and then Game 2 tomorrow is at high noon, and then Game 3, if necessary, would be right after that. We'll also have the Astros and the Reds tonight, 6:40 the broadcast time, and 7:10 first pitch. I meant to mention this earlier. Yesterday, I told you on Getaway Day that the Rangers would play in 2 hours and 42 minutes in their game with the Boston Red Sox. Okay. The actual game time yesterday was 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Well, I knew he was going to be close since he brought it up.
So
way to go, Chuck.
So anyway, nailed that, right? Nailed that. Also, yesterday I'd accused my wife of hiding the cookies from me. Solved the mystery on that too.
You ate them all.
No. I'd accused her of hiding the chocolate chip cookies from me that I had bought, and she had put them in the cabinet. And when I went home for lunch yesterday, the chocolate chip cookies were on the counter. Must have been listening. But she was not listening yesterday when I made that accusation. But apparently she was putting the cookies up because she wanted to make sure that the phenoms didn't eat them all when they came over.
Oh, so she was actually thinking of you.
Yes, right. She was actually thinking of me. It's well put. I hadn't really thought of it like that, but she didn't want the phenoms to eat them all. So she was thinking of me.
She truly is a lucky lady.
So,
since the new Pope is, an American,
right?
We should be able to give him a call and start working on the sainthood.
The sainthood, yes.
For her.
For the lucky lady.
Except she's not Catholic. So, but I guess she could pretend for to be a saint.
How about knighthood instead?
Well, that's the King of England.
It's
And you got to be British for that.
Okay, well, she
How about
just
just
needs
a-
a coat of armor and a sword for Chuck.
How about just a presidential medal?
We can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get her sort of a coat of armor and a sword to knock Chuck around with. Absolutely. In fact,
They
I
get a
know
rubber
guy-
sword,
I-
so it
I
doesn't
know-
kill him.
Yes.
Yes, we don't want him dead. Just yeah. He's
Well,
been
that got
banged
rid of
up.
all the
He's been banged up enough
been banged
a
up
lot lately.
Right. So
And clearly not learning his lesson yet.
clearly not. Clearly not. Let me ask you this about Parker Hutera. You told us that Coach Tadlock said yesterday that he was done for the season. Do you think he'll have to have some kind of surgery or procedure, or you don't know?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. The fact that they thought there was a chance for him to come back
Yeah.
gives you hope that he wasn't going to need it, that
Yeah.
he just needs time.
Right.
But I am not privy to that information.
I want to get to the top 25, and I will here in a second, but you had alluded to something about an hour ago about how well this team had been playing of late, and just some individual stuff. Antonelli Savateri is 10 for his last 22. Logan Hughes has a game on base streak going of 31 games going into this weekend. That's really impressive. Then Coleman Ryan, who plays at the shortstop spot at times, is one of 8 players to play 30 games this year. These are from the notes from Texas Tech. And then Tracer Lopez, since going into the leadoff spot, and you can speak to what he's done, 31 of 80 is hitting .388, and that's since April the 6th.
Yeah, it's the best version of Tracer Lopez we've ever seen. It's almost like putting him in the leadoff spot said to Tracer, I need to not try to pull the ball and hit out of the ballpark every time. I need to be an on-base guy. And that truly is where he's at his best. Mm-hmm. He's using all fields way more. He still hit a couple home runs during that stretch that he's turned on and hit out. Also hit one out the opposite way. But he's hitting the ball, to left field a bunch. He's peppering that hole between short and third, line drives to left field. He's getting on base at a high clip. And I just feel like it's been massive for the Red Raiders. He's really set the table and allows you to use Kyler Thompson in the 2-hole. Now you have 2 really fast guys there at the top of the lineup.
And then Damian Bravo, talk about what he's done the last 2 weekends. He's driven in 9 the last 2 weekends. So this is his bat coming back alive.
Damian had a great first game of the doubleheader last weekend with 4 hits. He went 4 for 5 that day and had the big 3-run double swing, and then didn't have a hit the rest of the weekend. So Bravo he's been key for you all season long, by far your most consistent player all season long, and he's a guy that's got a chance to play at the next level with his skill set and his size and all the above. So he's been huge for you, no question.
All right, so Red Raider baseball tonight, 5:30, and then 6 o'clock first pitch from Dan Law Field at Rip Griffin Park. All right, they put this out, and we're gonna see more and more of these. This is a post-spring, way too early top 25 ranking by ESPN and written by Mark Schlabach. And so
Another term that I think is overused.
yes, I would agree
Way
with
too
that.
early.
Yeah, way too early. Yeah.
I mean, if fans read it and are entertained by it, is it way too early? No, it's not.
Number 1 team they have in the land, Penn State.
Jeff disagrees.
Penn State's number 1. Clemson is number 2. And Texas is number 3. Do you want to take a wild guess at who the highest ranked Big 12 team is and what their ranking is?
I'm going to go with Arizona State. 15.
Nope. Jeff, do you want to go? Want to make a guess?
Choice told me these yesterday. I just don't remember them.
Okay.
Baylor at 4.
No. No, that's not playing along right there. That's just that's being dismissive of this discussion.
Of a way too early top 25 poll?
Yeah, Jeff doesn't
Every day.
he doesn't like the way too early
Okay.
polls.
BYU at 10.
Oh, okay.
BYU at 10.
Is this the poll that had 5 Big 12 teams between 10 and 20?
Arizona State's at 12. Iowa State's at 14.
Tech's at 16.
Tech's at 16.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
And
my question to you
who
is,
else?
let's see here. K-State's at 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate?
Yeah.
Big 12.
Right. Now let me ask you, based on what you're bringing back and what you've purchased, 16 seems light, doesn't it? I mean, you weren't ranked last year, so I mean, you're going from not ranked to 16. So maybe that's an impressive jump. But I mean, given what everybody's expectations are, 16, like you wouldn't take 16 today, would you?
To finish the season?
Yeah.
Probably not. I just, college football is just loaded with so many teams from the SEC and the Big Ten that are really good. So I don't think it's crazy talk just to start with. Let's see what you do.
Okay.
See what you do.
But you wouldn't take 16. It's just sitting here.
If you started the season at 16, I'd be fine with that.
I'm talking about ending the season.
I guess I would probably feel like you underachieved a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and that may be an unreasonable look at it too, because you're like, well, wait a minute. When's the last time you finished 16th in the top 25? Well, then I'd say, well, when's the last time you spent $30 million on a roster? Like, never. And that may be snarky, maybe a little too snarky, right? Because, I mean, other teams have improved as well.
I think you've improved at a higher rate.
Yeah, right. So we got high expectations. Kind of like when you go to the high-priced steakhouse, you expect to have a really good steak as opposed to the low-priced steakhouse.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so sometimes best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, right? They have to be on the fly. You have to be ready to make changes. Mm-hmm. Today, I had one question, and now I'm deciding I'm going to change courses. Okay, and it has to do with our last segment and our conversation there. And Chuck just told you later we're going to talk about this top 25 poll, but I want to just kind of jump off of that just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And so because of that, I'm going to rehash a conversation we had yesterday afternoon, okay, on the other show on 100.7 The Score. Okay? You should check it out. It's good stuff.
It is.
And our topic of discussion was about, the expectations have changed dramatically for this football team, and how realistic are those expectations, and comparing it to other teams on campus, where do those expectations lie? So I'm going to ask you, when you are talking about sports on the Texas Tech campus that have a chance to win a national championship, and you're allowed to split track between men's and women's. Okay. Where does Texas Tech football fit? What number? The odds of them winning a national championship in the next however many years. Which is the most likely? Which teams are the most likely? Where does football fit?
From today. I'm making sure we're not starting in the fall for next, starting from today.
Yeah, you can include the Tech softball team. You can include the Tech baseball team. Whatever.
Okay. Where does Tech football rank? Wow.
Odds to win a championship. A national championship. Not a Big 12 championship, but a national championship. I want to know what you're looking at right now.
I'm looking at just the number of sports.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, because you asked me for a number, so I was like, okay, I want to make sure I got all the sports in my head right. I think right now, this is crazy. I think right now the to me, the odds-on favorite to win a national championship, because it kind of seems like they've got it going for at least the moment, is Texas Tech softball. That would be number one on my list. Okay. Number two on my list is going to be Texas Tech basketball on the men's side. Okay. As far as football is concerned, I think it's below track. And there's a part of me that wants to put it below soccer. So I'm going to go track. I'm going to go third. Soccer, I'm going to go fourth. I'm going to put Tech football at fifth.
Okay. My list is a little different. I do have softball top of this list. I've got men's basketball number 2. I have men's track and field number 3.
Okay, we're lockstep.
I've got Tech football at number 4.
Okay.
I have soccer at 5 and men's golf at 6.
Yeah, men's golf would have been right there too for me.
The reason men's golf is further down is because their season's already wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean this is not just moving forward.
I think
forward.
Men's football could win a national.
Do we have women's football?
I mean, Texas Tech football could win a title next year before golf even gets to swing.
Oh man. Okay. Number 1 and 2 on my list are men's track and women's track. Okay. I mean, they're winning Big 12 championships. Okay. They won a national championship.
That's fair. No, that's.
I mean, I don't know how they're not 1 and 2 on your lists. Okay.
Well, I mean,
but to each their own, right?
How many lists do you think that Jeff and I are closer to being on the same wavelength as opposed to you? I mean, because there's probably not very many.
I don't know. Number 3 on my list, I'm putting men's basketball. I think you could have won one last year. Mm-hmm. This year that just finished up. I'll put men's basketball there. Number 4, I'll go with softball. Okay. I just, again, seeing where you are as far as the RPI and all that, and you're fighting to host, says that you're a really, really good team, but you're not quite the elite of the elite, right? You're not Oklahoma. Okay.
And are you even Texas?
So that's why I don't feel like it's such a gimme that they're going to win a national championship, but clearly they are on the right path. How long can Najee Kennedy play? Okay.
Well, maybe one more year.
7 or 8 years. That'd be great. Yeah. We get a couple of them then. Okay. I'll put Tech men's golf next.
And they are still playing. They have a regional next week. So.
Yes, that's right. At number 5, I'll put Tech men's golf at number 5. I'll put football at 6. Yeah, just ahead of soccer.
Okay. Which one do you think is the hardest to win?
Football.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I probably need to switch soccer and football. So what's spurred me to ask this question or have this topic again today is you being offended by the 16 ranking.
I don't know, offended. I don't know, offended is the right word.
He's bothered.
I'm putting words in your mouth.
He's bothered that Texas Tech is ranked 16.
No, I'm just wondering.
Well, he's also worried about the quarterback position.
I don't think it's crazy talk, Chuck. I mean, you may be the best team in the Big 12 conference, right? Mm-hmm. I think my expectation is that you need to win the Big 12 conference. That doesn't mean I think you have a shot against those teams in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Okay? I don't think you're there yet. Could you be there in 2 or 3 years? Maybe. We'll see. But you're coming off an 8-win season in the regular season. I get that, right? That's right. 8 wins last year, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
All of a sudden I doubted myself. I get that you've spent $30 million or whatever it is on your team, your roster. Mm-hmm. I totally understand, and that's why I think the expectations be different. I still don't think 1 year of doing that, when those SEC teams have been spending a ton of money and putting together these massive rosters for years and years and years, I just think there's a bigger gap between those elite teams and the next group in football than all those other sports we talked about.
Yeah, I think your runway's going to be a little longer on that. I agree.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to have you with us today here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Let's see here. I was typing about Chuck not giving the new home score when JL said something. Okay.
Now I'm disappointed that I ruined the fun.
You're sorry about that. We get this. That's part of why we have that rule in high school, so that if you're winning big, you can put in the 76 guys that want to play on the end of the bench.
Yeah,
if things go sideways, you can put the starters back in instead of the starters just playing the whole game.
Okay. All right. Okay. That makes some sense. Yeah.
He only pulled Canada after the sixth. A fluke dink hit spoiled a perfect game with 2 outs in the sixth. I think he would have left her in to get the perfect game. A lot of the Oklahoma State crowd had hung around but left after the hit. 13 strikeouts and retired 19 of the 20 batters she faced.
It's just amazing.
It is. I mean, she's great. I mean, she's, outstanding. All those things. Somebody says this, hoping Tech softball and baseball gets wins today. Let's go. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all in on that. So I feel like we haven't given softball its due today, or I haven't given softball its due today. So they're moving right along. So hopefully they can, and this kind of shows you, like, for the week after next with regard to the Big 12 baseball tournament, if you could figure out a way to get one of those buys, right? Because here you are today, they beat Tech softball, shuts out Baylor yesterday 4-0, and now they're in the semifinals. If they win today, they're in the Big 12 championship game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not that it's that easy, but it's that easy. Because you have to play one less game, and you get to kind of keep things, your normal weekend rotation. Even though probably with every game it's going to be all hands on deck.
Yes.
You don't have a choice. Red Raiders take on the 5th seed Sun Devils today at 3, and should they win, they'd be in the Big 12 championship game. How about that? Just like that. And then you wait for the NCAA tournament and see how they do in terms of seeding and hosting and who's coming to town and all that good kind of stuff. So you hope that you have that opportunity. And I think you do at this point, don't you? The hosting kind of aspect, at least the first round. Don't you think you've earned that at this point in time, Jamie?
It would be. I've not done a deep dive into other teams, that are around them in the RPI and all that stuff, Chuck.
Yeah, I feel like that you have.
Okay. So what pushes them ahead of the team that's behind them?
You won a Power 4 conference. Okay, I'm sure the team behind them did not. Okay. The semifinals today, Texas Tech and Arizona State, they play the first game. So that's good. You don't have to wait around. You know what time you're going to start, 3 o'clock. You know what time batting practice is going to be. You know what time infield is going to be. You know what time everything's going to be. You don't have to wait around. Arizona and Iowa State will play the other semifinal game. Okay. You're probably rooting against Iowa State just because they play softball, but they don't play baseball, right? Would that fall in line with your thinking?
That's probably fair.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You certainly don't want to see an all-Arizona Big 12 championship game. That'd be
because the Texas Tech is not in Arizona.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. We do not want to see that.
Yes.
Do you want to see that? Okay. Somebody says you're trailing off there, Chuck. Did I hear a walkie-talkie in there? I don't know what you're listening to. No walkie-talkies.
Do I need to wind him back up?
Yeah, right.
Let me reach over there and wind him back.
I had to put batteries in my radio this morning. That was disturbing. So, man. Well, because
how is it disturbing?
Well, because I have a certain amount of time. I'm just like, by this time this, by this time this, by this time this, and it's like, and put the batteries in. It's like, thankfully I had them right there in my drawer.
The horror.
The horror, right. It's messed up my.
Maybe do a little less time in the mirror doing me.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Me. No, I don't do
Maybe
that.
a little bit less of the how you doing? You look at the
You're getting better looking every day, there, buddy
blue
boy.
shirt today, man. You know what that means? I get whatever I want.
I've ruined that. It's my own doing. 8:07 this morning.
100%.
It's my own doing. 8:07 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Okay, so I want to finish this discussion. We can kind of start it. I'll change my mind here. All right, so you have Tech and UCF today. Concerns about their pitching. Do you feel pretty good about your batters because of how they've done here in recent games? Do you feel pretty good about your offense? You're more concerned about your offense or your pitching?
Oh, I mean, your offense wasn't good last week. I mean, it was good on Tuesday night when you scored 13 runs. But your offense was not good last week. Remember, you had just 2 extra base hits in the series against West Virginia. You were 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. You scored just 8 runs in 3 games. So
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't say that your offense was good.
Clicking, not clicking.
Yeah. What am I more worried about? I'm always going to lean towards the pitching. And also because it despite what I thought was going to happen at the beginning of the season, you're in a situation again where you don't. It's not that you don't have good pitchers back there, because you do. You'd like to have more, and I feel like you're in a situation where you need almost everybody all weekend long to be good. You can't handle one of those guys, or maybe you can one, but not 2 of those guys coming in and just laying an egg.
Mm-hmm.
You need them to be good. So I would say I still worry about the pitching. Although, I mean, again, your pitching has been much better of late. I mean, your pitching was definitely good enough to win that series at West Virginia. Starters have been much better. Bullpen is just continuing to, everybody kind of finding their new roles now that Parker Hutera is gone, and it got a little bit dicey there for Perko at the end of the win on Saturday, but for the most part, your bullpen's been solid.
So let me ask you this: let's say you get to the 8th tonight and you're leading by a couple of runs and you haven't used Siebert, or do you think Siebert's still the first guy off the bench?
Yes.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.